Good evening, listeners. Here we are, 6th of September. Matt and I have decided we're going to do a exclusive WSL Finals speed unprofessional review. It's the biggest surfing event on the professional surfing agenda, so even the layman has an opinion. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, good, really good actually. Some swells finally hitting up here, and the WSL Finals days around the corner, which means that we get the chance to cast our super judgy and opinionated eye on surfing that we would only ever aspire to have 1% of that skill, and I feel like we're in a position to do so. So,
And we
I,
also get to watch it, which is the main part. I'm just excited to watch it.
yeah, definitely. Especially that's something we'll go into. I wanted to talk to you about the final five and the people in it. Little update my end. We finally had surf. We actually got a bit of chunky swell today, and I surfed a board too small for me that wasn't mine, and had a shitty session. So that was a bad move. But waves on the horizon all week, so we'll be good. But let's dive straight into Trestles.
I'll just quickly say I had a bit of a crappy surf too, Matt. Like my surf was body surf, and then on a big hardboard with one of my surf house's lessons because the spots I checked weren't doing it, and then by the time I thought I'll go to another spot, I didn't go there, and just it was 8 foot out front, so it was a hard call, and I didn't want to go where the crowd was, so I gave up. And we've got plenty of days surfing to be had. I hope both of us. Autumn,
Yeah,
uh,
boy.
and
Fingers crossed.
autumn in California. Trestles. What do you
Yes.
reckon? Give me two names, man and woman, and then you can we go back and dissect it on the
Well, I
spot.
think I'm going Felipe and Durand Fay.
Okay, I'm going Jack, Carissa.
I like it. So before we fully dive in and dissect like the finals day, something I've been thinking about, which I wanted to throw a question to you, and obviously this is actually putting you on the spot, but this is the first year where we've had the cut and the finals day and a full year. And I wanted to get your thoughts on how you think the year's been before finals day, up to finals day, kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of the cut, but it just seems like it's it's like a balloon that got popped because if you weren't within a cooee, and somewhere they kind of were. It was when I looked at it after that, maybe there were, because maybe anyone from the top 15 could have won Chopu and still got in, but actually someone did, and he didn't get in. So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was kind of for the Jacko Bakers and even the Conor O'Learys and all that. It kind of seemed like a holiday the second half of the tour as opposed to being more the end of the tour used to be quite cutthroat because that was when you got chucked off.
mm,
And it also didn't seem to work out really well with how the swell works because look, Chopu they finished in shit after having a great one
yeah.
day one day swell.
What really hit me was actually on the women's side, like you said about the men's, however many people had a chance to win it and qualify. On the women's side, because of how condensed it was, they actually had less of an opportunity because they had less scoring potential. So if someone done bad, they still got a certain amount of points, and you had a less of a
Yeah. It was
difference.
straight from one round to the quarterfinals, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like that, I 100% think that it's been a good year. I think definitely next year they should add at least six more girls, like in my opinion, at least. And I think they should maybe make the cut later because I 100% agree with you. I was loving Jackson Baker surfing pre-cut, but after the cut, I feel like pedal pedal was taken off the metal, like pressure was taken off, and some people that works well for, and some people it doesn't. And I think there should be more pressure.
I'm just using him as an example because we talked to him early in the season. I've got nothing against Jackson, who I think fantastic surfer. Maybe
And
it was
great
some
year.
events as well, like they were kind of
Mm,
strange sort of events. I didn't think Punta Ruca. I didn't think that event El Salvador was as good as we hoped it would be. Um,
I agree. And
Brazil
don't
was fun to watch. I mean,
don't you think it was
J
weird
Bo
how?
best comp of the year personally.
Yeah, I 1,000,000% agree. That was actually one of my questions I was going to ask you. Is like highlight of the year for you in terms of
Oh,
what.
pipe on the first day, and then J Bay. But here's one, and we'll go into that. But I watched a bit of Trestles sort of surfing videos yesterday. There was Jack, Ethan, and Toledo on stab with 3 different videos, and what I noticed the most is I of course Felipe surfs it really good, and a lot of the surfing you see him do it's like 3 foot. There was maybe 2 days where it was 4 or 5 foot, and he's a really good small wave surfer. He's fantastic technique in waves that don't have as much power. And Jack, and then when I watched Jack surfing, who I thought was actually more explosive and everything, but you can see, and this is like one of the best surfers in the world, that every time he goes up to hit the lip or do a carve at Trestles, there's no wall pushing back on him, and everyone seems to. And 50's a good friend of mine, and he went to Trestles, and so I don't know too many people that closely apart from pros if you're talking to them, but I don't really know them who say it's a shit wave. It looks like a great wave. And it kind of can be from what we've all seen. But these guys are the best in the world, so of course they're going to make it look pretty good. But like when you saw Jack surfing straight after Toledo, every time I went to hit it, there was no wall there. So
Yeah,
I think it just takes the glamour off the WCT finals because it's just you don't want it to be someone who's good at making speed out of nothing. You want it to be a premium wave,
yeah,
like premium power.
I agree.
Whether it's tube, I don't mean it has to be pipe or anything, but just something fantastic where there's. Sorry for talking so much, Matt, but this is important for me to get off this across. And ever since I was 20 and I traveled my first time to Indo, there's 2 sorts of surfing. There's your surfing at a local beach break or whatever, and then there's your surfing in premium waves. And there's always 2 different sorts of surfers. You can see some guys transcend both categories, but it's not necessarily the guy that shines in crappy average waves that is the guy that shines in premium waves. And premium waves are honestly what the world tour final should be because that's what we're aspiring to as a surfer, full stop.
I think you're completely right. And firstly, like not not that you ever would, but like taking your time to explain your point actually works out better because that I completely agree. When I look at like people that were on this year, someone who stood out for me was Jarchenko. Now he's a surfer who I think falls into exactly what you're saying is if you put him into a premium wave, he will actually elevate his surfing to a premium surfer because he can push as hard as he wants and go as fast as he wants. Whereas watching him on the Challenger series, it kills me because he's pushing through and you see him overpower waves and you see him have to surf at like
I made the semis at the US Open, which was interesting.
yeah, which was amazing.
Had plenty as well, though.
Yeah, but so I think you're completely right. And there was something I listened to that was really interesting, which was Ain't That Swell? Vaughan done a podcast with Nick Carroll, and he says basically the same thing. He says that Trestles is a wave that almost anybody can go and surf, and it's not a premium wave. And I'm in agreement with you. I actually don't think final should be at pipe because pipe is I think it's a one-dimensional wave. It's a tube
Well,
riding event.
it's also a wave where the wave can dictate the winner.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
exactly.
John would have had 6 pipe masters because
Yeah,
he's the dude who's best at pipe, lives there. So logically, you think John should nearly win every comp there, and he doesn't because the wave can dictate the winner by sending, which is the best thing about serving. Like Huey, anyone can get the best wave of the day as
yeah.
long as they don't blow it. But
And I
if
think you mentioned Indonesia and Bali and stuff. Surely, surely, with the setup there, there's a wave that can work as an A-frame.
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, and so I think back to the point of this year, I think it's been a really good year, and I'm less against the cut as I was, but I still think it should be moved back as a later event, like maybe 7 events in to keep it more pressure on people. But
I
yeah,
also don't think that a lot of the footage that we've been seeing, like for example, Trestles, like they've got 10 days, they're running out on the best day. It's not going to be those 2 3 foot days.
no,
It's going to be. It looks like it's going to be Saturday. If I was a bet better, I'd say Saturday. Saturday is their best looking day. It looks like,
yeah,
and that's 6 foot American. So that's good overhead trestles where hey, the winner's going to be world champ. We'll see. But it is honestly, and I'm not really for this format, but it's giving a lot of anticipation coming into it. If you like surfing and you like watching pro surfing, I mean, we've got like 2 Australians. That's incredible for Australian surfing, which was one of the forebearers of professional surfing. You got 2 Brazilians, and then you've got semi-local. He's not really local, but he's grew up there in Kanoa. I don't know
yeah.
how Griff isn't in there. I don't know how Griff's not in there, but Italo's in there. Did Italo win any events?
No, no, he hasn't even finaled this year.
He just made a bunch.
He just
Something
he just quarterfinals and semi-finals like a good
a
few
lot.
times. Yeah. Um. So
He dropped the bag, Griff, didn't he?
Griff just
Somehow.
just like yeah,
Won
Griff
two events.
Griff makes my head hurt because like you win 2 events and he would literally only need to make like maybe 1 or 2 semi-finals and then not finish last. But I think he had 2 wins, but he had 3 last places, and I think that's mental
They did
because
a hot. What was it? Surf 100 there the other year.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he didn't win it.
no,
Kaloe beat. So I wouldn't be backing Griff to win it yet. Anyway, I'm not saying he couldn't because
I
he's
think
a
I
fantastic
think it
surfer.
depended where he fell. If he were to qualify, I think if he finished fifth or fourth, then I don't think so. But I think if he finished like third, second, or first, it'd be a danger. I don't think he'd come from fifth. But let's run through it because I've done this at work today with the boys, so I'm gonna do it with you. Heat by heat, we'll do men's first, and this is the way that you could get to the final. So heat by heat, pick your winner, maybe say why, and then it will lead to the final. So Kanoa, Italo, that's your first heat. We're assuming that it's running on the Saturday and it's good conditions. Who's winning?
Do you only do the fantasy surfer WSL or do you do the fantasy surfer as well?
No, I do. I only do fantasy surfer.
Yeah, same with me. I don't know how it works because I've only got Italo on there. If anyone else is listening, they could send us a message.
Yeah, I'm still confused with it. I
Okay,
am.
so they
I'm.
better fix it up.
I'm in a league, and what they've done with it is they've sent an email to everyone and asked them for their predictions via an email for this one. So, but
Hey,
but
so
at work we've got a big board, and I've drawn up a big board for everyone, and it's got like heat by heat. So yeah, Kanoa or Italo.
Italo.
Really? Hmm. I'm going Kanoa. So I'll say after you. So that means it would be Italo, Ethan.
Ethan.
And for me, it would be Kanoa, Ethan, and I'm picking Ethan. So we're in the same boat again of Ethan, Jack, Robbo.
He did the comp. Jack.
Okay, I'm going to stay true to what I've written on the board at work, and I've gone Ethan. And yeah, heat of the comp. I reckon it'll be 19 plays 18 and a half in score wise. But so that means for you it's a Jack Philippe final, and you're going to back the Aussie.
Yeah, even though somewhere my head's saying Felipe, but then I just would rather give up.
Manifest it, get it out in the universe.
I'd rather get out. I'd rather give up my jersey than go against my heart. And honestly, I met Jack when he was 11 with his little bowl cut, and I just think that there's really a lot of good surfers in the world, and there's been a lot of good professional surfers in the world, and I've been watching it since I was maybe 14 or 15, even before I got heavily back into surfing. There's been a lot of world champions that are just world champions because they're fantastic at competing and can do the headspace. Tom Carroll, Damien Hardman, Barton Lynch, Martin Potter only had 1 year. But when you look at all these world champs, it's not like, Occy took all those years because he needed to get into the right position. And even then, Kelly wasn't on the tour. And I just think Jack's got the mentality that he can.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
So what are you saying? So you're saying Jack, but what, 2-1, 2-0?
2-1.
2-1. Okay. I hate to say it because for me it's an Ethan Philippe final, and I think Philippe beats him 2-1. I think Ethan will win the first heat, and then Phil will win 2 on the bounce.
Honestly, I think I really, 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 really like Ethan to win, man. He's a Queenslander. He's a Queenslander, and I'll say again he's my favourite surfer. I'm 50. You can always have a favourite surfer. Mick was a favourite surfer of mine. Luke Egan was a favourite surfer of mine. Tom Curran was a favourite surfer of mine. I love style. I don't have it. I love watching great. And I think his turns are bigger than everyone's, but I'm not sure he can put them together.
Well, we've been backing him all year. Like we've been backing him in one. Like both of us are. Both of us. I completely echo every surfer you've just said. We're stuck suckers for style. Like that's why Steph is.
I think from the first heat when I saw Ethan in J Bay, I thought he was going to win it because usually I think he looks a little bit slow and taking his time, not his turns, just where J Bay he looked like he had maybe Italo's Red Bull recipe going. He was just more energetic, and if he can get that energeticness, I don't think Jack can stop him if he ticks his boxes. But I think Jack can stop him by halfway through the heat doing a monster air.
Maybe.
Which the thing is, and that's the hard thing about this, it's not. I don't think it's the fatigue or anything that will come into the equation, but I think they should all be fit enough to have to surf. Like, okay, they've got to surf it's 3 times 30 minutes to get the final. That's not that long. An hour and a half of amount of surfing those guys do. But what I do think would be hard for Kanoa or Italo, for example, and then maybe even Ethan to do, is excite the judges.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though there's not, when you're looking at it, so, okay, top 2 scores wins your heat. If Ethan was on mega fire, right, he's got 6 different waves in his arsenal.
Yeah, true.
It's only when you're thinking, okay, if they do 10 waves and then the judge sees, but it might not be that. So just say he takes off in the first 5 minutes of his heat against Jack and gets a 9. And then his next wave, he gets a 9.8. He's only just got to sit there.
Yeah.
He's got
I mean, if you
Jack gets 10.
If you get a 9 and a 9.8 and lose, you hold your hands up and go, all right, fair enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I'm saying there? So
if
he's able to do, like, there's 2 waves against Italo, he's got to win.
Yeah,
Vulcano, 2 ways against Jack. That makes 4. Then he's got to just nail another 4 to 6 waves, 10 different waves. He can come up with enough variety and repertoire. Because I was worried about that, thinking like the judges get used to seeing something and say he's got to do something different. Where straight away Toledo or whoever it is, even if it was Kelly, they've got a different style. So if they do something completely different to what Ethan did in his 2 heats previous, they might overscore it
but
without wanting to.
at the same time, they can that can work in Ethan's favor as well because
Yeah,
if if he serves against if he serves against Italo and Italo's going aerial and Ethan's doing 4 perfect turns, there's a difference, and the judge can go, well, I'm going to score the turns over the air. Then if he serves against Jack and it's a rail off, no one beats Ethan. And then if he serves against Phil, and again, like Fat Pip's going, I'm going to go air, they've got a point of difference, and that actually might work in his favour.
they've got to go big in their air to beat Ethan's biggest turn.
Yes.
That's what
Uh,
I'm.
and
His
I think
biggest turn isn't just some dude's big turn. It's
no,
something no one else can do.
and I think
Let's hope that the lip will give him that line.
I think what they've shown this year, judges have shown this year, is if you're going to do a big air, it has to be with stuff. They're not this year. They're not scoring that Hail Mary air.
Well, we'll see because last year
Yeah,
Gabriel won with
Medina's
some
backlit
sort of hail man, but it was a big air.
was overscored. But
It
okay,
was.
so
It's like if Ethan does the best turn he's ever done, here's a good one. So he does the best turn he's ever done, which at the moment we've seen some of the biggest turns ever.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The evolution of surfing has led to Ethan.
yeah.
Like at the time, it led to Oki. So if he does his biggest turn ever, shouldn't then that be a 10?
Why not? It
We'll
definitely,
see.
and I think they will
We'll see.
reward it. Let's jump to the women. Same format. So it's Steph Brisa up first.
Steph.
I agree, Steph. That means Steph, Tatiana, Weston Webb.
Steph.
I Yeah, I'm gonna go Steph actually. If it's again, if we're talking Saturday and it's that 6 foot, I'll go Steph. Steph Joanne DeFay.
Well, then I'm thinking Steph's going to start running out of juice because Joanne, which I buy. I don't know why I'd say that, but I'm just thinking she's going to run out of juice, and Joanne's 12 years younger and super fit.
I think Joanne, and I think the reason being is um I don't know actually, because I think with Steph is I think she'll be smart. I think again, like a bit like we were saying about Ethan, is she might actually only catch 4 waves of heat. And
Steph surfs how she can, like Ethan. She's got the biggest frontside turn and most power.
yeah,
She can easily make the final.
yeah. I'm gonna go,
Especially when you're looking at who is it, Brisa, Tatiana,
yeah.
and then Joanne. Honestly, Steph should make the final. She should really get through them 3 at
I'm
Trestles.
I'm gonna go against what I far out. I'm gonna go Joanne
You didn't
because
ask me for the last one,
yeah, not yeah, I was explaining mine, but
Carissa.
Joanne, you think Carissa's gonna win. I think Joanne's gonna beat Carissa 2-0. I reckon she'll stick it on her, like she'll get real aggressive and beat her 2-0. But
I don't think there's hope in hell of that. But then again, you said Canal was going to go good somewhere. Chopu when he did.
yeah, I yeah, I just got this thing. I don't think Carissa's gonna win it. I think she's had a few moments this year where she hasn't convinced me. So, but we'll see. We will see.
She's
And I hope that Kelly and Mick
she's
get in the
such
booth.
a good surfer, Carissa, man. She can
Mm.
do the job, and she can handle the pressure.
I mean, she's incredible. And she's been there before. She was there last year. She was up against it last year and managed to pull it back as well. So she's definitely got like she's the favorite, and I think that's the reason why I don't want to choose her is that I don't really like choosing the out and out favorite. Um, but what I wanted to talk to you about though is, and this applies to men and women. What do you reckon the final five would look like, or how good the final five would be with no injuries, a full year? Can you imagine if the final
Yeah, but
five?
you can't. A few people, I've heard a few people talk about it. You just can't. It's just like, fuck, man. Like Tom Carroll got injured a bunch of times. It's part of being. There'd be all these American football stars that go out because they've got a knee. If you can't get through the season, you're not the world champ.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. But like, say, just can you imagine
Well,
how?
there'd be John, and Gabrielle in there, wouldn't they?
Yeah, can you imagine like what that final that every heat of that final five would be?
So who would not be in there? Would it be John, Gabrielle, Felipe, Jack, Ethan?
Ethan?
Maybe
I think
not
so.
because
I think so.
Gabrielle, well, Gabrielle came. He had a crack against Jack and he couldn't beat him. But you know what I mean? If John and them were there, there would have been heats during the year where some of those dudes. It might not even be those dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe
but
that's maybe John might have knocked out Tarlo a couple of times. Maybe he might have knocked out Jack.
mhm.
So even though I don't know if John could have beaten Jack or Ethan at J-Bay, even though that's like wash my mouth out with salt. Maybe he could have. He's pretty
Well,
good.
no, I think arguably on the especially on a wave face like
We
rail,
will never know.
is Ethan Ewing the best rail surfer in the world? I think so. So I honestly, if there's a John Ethan final at J Bay and it's pumping J Bay where airs aren't going to matter, then I'd put my money on Ethan. But that's when John would do three huge turns and then go to the air, and then the judges have got
John's got such good technique that he's done
yeah,
those turns at Margaret River, but that he can
yeah.
probably do them at J-Bay,
Oh
man.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I personally for me, John Florence is
And it's such a pity that we haven't been able to see that. It's somewhere like
yeah,
I read something where he's on. How much better is what he's doing anyway?
yeah. Did you see he uploaded a video the other day of him getting like he got this backside barrel, and I was like,
PG.
yeah. And it was just like I was just like, oh, that made me feel better. It just made me like realize
So,
that
how
yeah,
good do we think the surf's going to be?
at Trestles,
Yep.
I reckon it's going to be pretty similar to last year.
Which
I
I thought was a touch peak
I thought
for
it was
Trestles.
I thought it was good. I just didn't like the fact that it
I'm
had
just
that.
watching John's tube time, dude. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
his knee looks all right there. He doesn't even have a brace.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think hopefully this year the only thing is I don't want it to have that funky weird morning stuff that really affected Steph's heat because last year she got like her and Morgan Shabiglick's heat against Connor Coffin was really affected by like the morning sickness they have, and then it like glassed off and I was just like, oh, I felt bad for the people in the first heat because the waves weren't what they should be. But
It looks like the wind goes good during the afternoon, which means they wouldn't have to run immediately, even though they're kind of. How many hits they got to do? Do you know? Eight
theoretically, theoretically
hits.
up to 14.
Okay, so it's six to get to the final.
So well, it's for
Five
fifth
versus
course.
four versus three versus two. So there's six, and then
Yeah,
six if they both go to the
yeah. So
12,
12.
12 heats. Is it half-hour heats? 35-minute heats.
I think it's 35 minutes. Yeah,
So let's say it's 35 minutes heats. That's 12 fives is an hour, 7 hours. So they've got to run straight away. They've got to run at eight.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Just
we'll
have a
see.
break.
We will see. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. And
Well, we're
then
lucky. We're lucky to be surfers. We're lucky to be able to watch it. We're lucky that they can travel Uh,
And
for all those reasons, we're lucky.
we're lucky that once it happens, we'll be able to talk about it. And then
And the people
we've
that
got
don't like it, like everything else, you just don't have to watch it.
exactly. And then after it runs, we're lucky that we've got Dane's new film to talk about. We'll have more Electric Acid, the new Electric Acid to talk about. We've got the little Katie Simmers edit that I want to talk to you about and voice some things about. So there's plenty more to come from us as well. Do you have a
Yeah,
do?
we'll get back up and running again on that because I've been watching most of those things
Yeah,
and Fantastic Acid thing's great. Hey, were you able to? I haven't listened or done anything for a while. Were you able to update our listeners on the backstory on why there wasn't the French Quick Pro?
I no, because I couldn't hear you. The whole thing broke.
Okay, a high-speed footnote was that the Quick wanted the CT back here, right? And the WSL said, you can have it in March. And Quick said, wow, we've been supporting you and paying for this comp for 20 years and we helped develop it alongside the original G-Land and everything else and we'd really like it. Why don't you guys push the final back a couple of weeks, which would be just as good for Trestles because they're in the same season of us. And I personally think the season ends a little bit too early. And the WSL refused it. So Quick gave him the big middle finger, and that's it. It wasn't to do with a financial thing. It was to do with respect, really. They backed the comp for 20 years.
Yeah,
The WSL took it off him during COVID and wouldn't give him back a CT. And they've said, well, go to hell.
and then how does that affect? So then that had the knock-on effect that they couldn't have the Challenger series in October.
No. They refused to have the Challenger series. They said, give us the CT back. And they said,
Oh, right.
yeah, we'll give it to you in March, which would be 11-degree water and a 70% chance of bad storms.
And
The
no,
pros wouldn't like it either because it'd be too cold for them.
and there's no tourism.
Yeah, not even that.
You
The
would,
waves,
yeah,
the surfers wouldn't like it because the guy that told me, who's a heavy insider, uh, he said they were already complaining in Portugal in March, which is like
yeah,
4 degrees warmer water than here.
yeah.
Big difference between 11 and 15 degrees water. You got booties on, you're freezing. They wouldn't have been able to do it.
No.
They wouldn't really get a good event in March here. And that's the sort of kookism that they're sending at the moment. And it was a lack of respect to Quick, and I actually think good on them that they said fuck off.
Yeah, me too.
They supported them for all that time, and basically they got a slap in the face. So
Yeah.
they're not having it, which really kind of means like, what's the back half of this challenge? Who even knows what's going on? There's another one in Portugal because that's where the WSL Joker is, down at Ribeira. And then what does it go? Maybe one in Brazil and then
Brazil and then Hawaii.
Haleiwa, which at least is a good event.
Yeah, yeah. Well, heard it here first. There's
But
the inside scoop on it.
we'll get back to that. Let's go. Let's just all go, Jack.
Have you got a do and don't? Because I've got a good do and don't. We could just
Just go surfing instead of what I did today, instead of fucking going back and forth and then not going surfing and holding off till tomorrow. And then don't give up, keep searching. My friend said that to me the other day. Don't give up, keep searching. I just have had a couple of months where I just can't get a good surf.
yeah. Well, like I said, I had good chunky waves here today. Didn't take. I had an inappropriate board at work, so I borrowed one off someone. I won't mention what board it is, but it's not a good one. And yeah, didn't have a great surf. Like I think I was out for like
Amazing what a bad board can do to a bad surfer's
yeah, and
days.
I hate blaming the board, but it was just so badly proportioned. And my do quickly before this runs out. This is a world class do. You should do what my Mrs. Emily has done, which is buy gifts for people that benefit you. she's wanted a coffee machine for months and months and months and months and months. My birthday's in 2 weeks, and she's bought me a coffee machine
Ah, she's cold.
purely for her, and I respect that fully. What she doesn't know is her birthday's 3 days after mine, and because of
She's
this,
getting a sander.
no, she's getting a new shortboard. Yeah, no, but
Well,
that's
my wife, we'll leave it at that, Matt. My wife bought me a toaster one time. It was nice colours. Au revoir.
au revoir. Have a good one.